Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Thursday, May 27th, 2021. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and change. If it's Thursday, you know what that means. 24/7 Sports Director of Recruiting, Steve Wiltfong, has graced us with his presence. Steve, how does it go?
Couldn't be going better. Sun's out, sending that down I-70 through Dayton all the way to Columbus. It's a race weekend here in Indianapolis. I don't know if anyone is coming this way from Columbus or Dayton to Indianapolis, as the capacity at the track is lighter than normal. So I'm actually expecting one of my better race experiences ever. I do like it when there is 250,000 people in there. Don't get me wrong. I like it when it's 95 degrees and the beer is pouring out of me as fast as it's going in. So I don't know what that's going to be like. It's going to be like 70 and sunny on race day with not even half the fans. It could be kind of a one-year pleasant aberration.
If you do not live in Indiana or do not have a background in car racing, you cannot imagine how big of a deal the Indy 500 is. The high school in the area is called Speedway High School, I think. Isn't that true?
It is indeed, and it's the largest sporting event in the country when it's rocking and rolling. Over 250,000 people normally come. Now, granted, there are people that come and they just party in the infield and do their thing, and they don't even see a car all weekend. I always kind of laugh at the Indy 500 fan, because I sit in the stands now. I used to be one of the infield goers, and you always hear a grumpy guy in the stands saying, "I wonder if they even know a race is going on." I just want to be like, "Look, brother, without the $50 that each of them paid to just be on the infield, to their $50 cover charge they paid to drink and party, you're probably not enjoying a lavish experience up here."
Given what we just went through with the pandemic, I'd probably pay $50 just to watch people party in the infield. But I digress. Let's talk quarterbacks. Steve always brings us great knowledge when it comes to signal callers. We discussed the one 2023 quarterback Ohio State has offered, and that ship has sailed, Malachi Nelson out of California. You've been on the road. Actually, the road came to you now that I look at it. There was a quarterback collective event in Indianapolis recently. Please explain what that is and why a guy from South Carolina was up there kicking butt and what it means to Ohio State.
Yeah, so the QB Collective is a camp or showcase or academy, depending on what they're doing. That's basically run by NFL coaches, so you got the Shanahans involved and so many offensive coordinators and quarterback coaches from the NFL are part of the QB Collective experience. Richmond Flowers is a guy who started it, former coach. He's a coach's agent now. And it's really a way to grow the game and teach quarterbacks how to play the position from the pro perspective. And there's on the field work. There's in the classroom work. It's a pretty cool deal. If you go to their website, Justin Fields is one of the guys on the cover. He was big into the QB Collective deal, but you got Mike Shanahan and Kyle, obviously, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel are some of the coaches involved. A lot of terrific high school coaches have been involved with the collective. Kyle McCord participated in the event. I don't know how many collective things he's done, but I saw him last summer at a collective event. But DJ Uiagalelei been part of it as well, and so many others. But I think it's a first-class camp where the kids learn a lot, and it's not. I mean, these kids are competitive, but it's not a competition, if that makes sense. It's an opportunity to just come in and learn. So this past weekend in Indianapolis was an event designated for 2024 and 2025 signal callers. And there's one prospect in Ohio State recruiting circles you should have on your radar, and Jaden Davis out of Catawba Ridge High School in South Carolina. He's got 7 early offers: Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Penn State, South Carolina, to name a few. He's going to come to Ohio State's camp. He's been, him and his family been talking to Coach Dennis, and they're gonna hit some spots. They're gonna basically hit all the powerhouses in June. They're gonna go to Georgia on the 1st, Bama on the 2nd, Clemson on the 3rd, Oklahoma on the 12th, Ohio State on June 22nd, and then they have Penn State scheduled for July 25th. So, it'll be interesting to see if how well he throws, if Ohio State's ready to go on a quarterback this early in the process, but he's a guy that's on their radar.
You got to see him in person. What's your vibe?
Well, he's an athletic, competitive young player with a ton of talent. I've seen him a couple times now. He's already been invited to play in the All-America Bowl. I think he's got the right demeanor for the position. I think he's got all the traits. He's athletic. He's got a big arm. And I think that he's still got a lot of growing to do.
Fair to say, though, that he is not limited to southern destinations?
If you look at the travel and the places that he's going, they're going to go out and see some schools out of region.
That's what I figured.
Georgia's already offered, and he's going there on June 1. Alabama's offered, and he's going there on June 2. I think those are two programs that are already in a great spot. Going to Clemson on June 3. Clemson is the one school that is getting, they don't have to extend early offers. I wonder how much, we'll see how long that works, but they haven't offered yet, and it's working for them now. And then, Oklahoma on June 12th and Ohio State. So I think that just looking at their camp schedule, they already have an idea of what they're looking for in a school and who they're looking at.
Yeah, I'm not sure you could come up with a better visit schedule for a quarterback prospect or a prospect at all. That's very impressive. Was anyone else there that jumped out at you, or should we start talking about Dylan Lonergan?
Yeah, I think we can move on to Dylan Lonergan. Ohio State's going to have a lot of quarterbacks in camp this summer. Jaden Davis is one of them. Dylan Lonergan's another one. He's a top 100 quarterback in the state of Georgia, whose father played at Penn State. Dylan Lonergan's going to play baseball in college, has a fastball that's over 90 miles per hour. So in between his baseball schedule, they've locked in several June camp visits, and one of them is to Ohio State. And talking to his dad, he said that Ohio State and Alabama are two schools that have really turned it up as of late, along with Clemson. Had a good sophomore season, 65% completion percentage for over 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns to just six picks, and they're going to go to quite a few places, Clemson and South Carolina to get it started, and Mississippi State and Alabama. So you see the good baseball programs mixed in there with some exciting football programs. Ohio State's going to be on June 9th, so he's going to be at an earlier camp and throw for the Buckeyes. And so he's a guy that, if he does well, could obviously earn an offer. I don't know if he's camping, but I think Dante Moore is a guy from Detroit King that you got to keep an eye on, an Ohio native that plays up in Detroit. That his mom still lives in Ohio, and he grew up liking the Buckeyes. Now that the process has started, he's gone to no bias towards the school. But Ohio State, I think, would be a player for Dante Moore if that's one that they choose to go on as well.
A couple things have become very clear to me when it comes to recruiting. One, if Michigan is involved with the prospect Ohio State is going after, it usually means the kid is now from Michigan, and that's slightly an indictment of Michigan, and by slightly, I mean large. And if you need to know a reason why Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State, and even Oklahoma are always in the mix for the national championship, it's because they are battling over the best quarterbacks every year, and these are the studs you need to win a title. We're going to come right back, talk about some more studs. We are back. Running back. Ohio State has a loaded room right now. There's chatter about who will the starter be, if Master T is going to be healthy, Mayan Williams, the emergence of Travion Henderson. One guy they're going to be focused on going forward on the recruiting front, though, is Omarion Hampton. The term man among boys is used a lot with high school players, and I'm not sure if it's justified. It is justified here. Please tell us about him.
Yeah, we've talked about him a few times. He's one of the more big physical backs in this class. I mean, he's an absolute bruiser between the tackles, but he can also go the distance. I mean, he's a home run threat in that regard as well, and he's a guy that Ohio State covets. I mean, I think Ohio State's running back situation is going to play out. I mean, going into the visits, I think the Buckeyes are going to land down Hayden, and then they're going to take their swings at Omarion Hampton. And I like North Carolina going into the trips for Hampton, but I think Ohio State and Penn State are two others in really good position. And he's also going to visit Auburn and Florida.
Let's finish with this. Landon Samson, a very interesting name for a variety of reasons, a really good receiver out of Texas, who happens to play with Quinn Ewers, the future quarterback at Ohio State, state champions at Southlake. Landon Samson, I'm not sure was on anyone's radar until you brought it to us. We had Mark Porter do a review of him yesterday. He's a very good football player. This should not be looked upon as just a guy they're getting so that Quinn has someone to travel to school with back and forth. And we think he's possibly got a future in Columbus. Tell us why.
Yeah, because he's going to camp. And first of all, you look at him athletically, he's got an 11.04 100-meter dash time to his name, which means when he's done with high school, he'll be a sub-11 guy. He's over a 20-foot long jumper, so he's explosive. He's fast. You turn on the film, and he's routing people up, creating separation, doing things in a lot. I mean, they bubble screen him, and he erases angles running down the sideline. Obviously, he can take the top off. In the red zone, he can create separation and make plays there. Shows good hands. At Southlake Carroll, they run a pretty complex offense, and so he's a smart football player as well. And then obviously you add in the fact that his quarterback is Quinn Ewers, and they have a strong chemistry together. It's his go-to guy, and they've played a lot of football together. I think that Quinn Ewers is going to participate in the camp with Landon Samson. That's certainly going to help the young man too, I would think, having his quarterback delivering him the football. And I know that he's on Ohio State's short list of receivers that they're evaluating here as they try and fill out their receiver class. And I think that he's going to come to camp and earn an offer and then just doing this job for a long time. Guys that generally camp that have other good opportunities, and my crystal ball's on Nebraska for him right now, and he's going to take an official visit to see the Huskers the week before Nebraska's camp, is these seniors that camp at powerhouse programs, and if they earn the offer, they generally go there. They don't generally camp at Ohio State or Clemson or Alabama and get an offer and then say, thank you, I love everything about you, but I'm still going to go to this other school that offered me before you offered me. So if he's camping, I think he wants to earn it, and I think he wants to earn it for more than a feather in his cap. I mean, you look at a guy like Terry McLaurin, who went to Ohio State's camp a couple times. You got to remember, Terry wasn't a no-brainer recruit at that time. His stock really rose as a senior, but Ohio State offered him before he laid down those amazing testing numbers and all of that. He just came to camp and went to work and did everything he could to earn an offer. I think that Landon Sampson wants to earn an Ohio State offer. I think he wants to play on that kind of stage in college football. And athletically, he's good enough. In the tape, he's got a lot of production. I mean, he's showing good concentration on the ball. He's winning in one-on-one situations. Just has good instincts in addition to the athleticism and the natural ability he has.
If you put it all together, I think Landon Sampson will ultimately be a Buckeye and play alongside his high school quarterback. We appreciate Steve bringing the knowledge. Have a good one, Bucknutters.
Take care, y'all. See you on the front row.